Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Isles of the Emberdark by Brandon Sanderson. The ebook actually releases today and I'm recording this yesterday, which is technically today when I'm recording. I'm recording this on the 9th and the ebook comes out on the 10th. So let's get to it. Isles of the Emberdark is secret project number 5 and it's actually developed from Sanderson's previous novella called The Sixth of the Dusk. Do you need to read the novella? No, not really, because what Sanderson did is he has integrated the novella into this book in the form of flashbacks. You can read Isles of the Emberdark as one complete experience without worrying whether or not you need to read the novella. The story takes place on Drominad. This story is actually part of the Space Age of the Cosmere. Almost every other major player in the Cosmere have figured out space travel, while Drominad is still in a pre-industrial era. The planet is on the cusp of technological advancement, but they are very much aware that any sort of trade deal that this planet does with these advanced settlements, it's going to be an unfavorable deal. The primary protagonist is Dusk, or Sixth of the Dusk, who is a trapper. He traps, sells, and also takes care of aviar. They are birds who can bestow magical powers to the people who they bond with, and that is the magic system of this book. He's someone who has spent all his life as a trapper, and now with all these technological advancements that have come along with these aliens, his way of life has slowly started to become redundant. As the threat of colonization and exploitation becomes all the more apparent, Dusk sets out on a voyage through Shadesmark, which he believes is the original sea of blackness that his ancestors traversed to come to this planet. Dusk's journey through Shadesmark is as self-reflective as it is fantastical, mirroring both the mythologies of Drominad as well as familiar fantastical elements we've seen in the Stormlight Archive. While the planet Drominad might not be as Cosmere aware, and Dusk's point of view is limited, but the secondary point of view is not. Coming to the secondary POV, Starlight is a dragon. She's a relatively young dragon who is exiled from Yolen, which is the planet of dragons. She also has this manacle that limits her power as punishment. I did not like Starlight. Okay, I just realized while editing that I've referred to this character as Starlight throughout the video, and her name is Starling. Just goes to show how much I like the character. Apologies. Sanderson has said he really enjoyed this POV, but I didn't. Her relentless attitude, her refusal to bow to authority, her character felt very much like a template. Win, Shalan, Sarane, Tress. Starlight resembled all of them in some ways. I just wasn't able to connect with the character. And the secondary reason I didn't like her POV was the hyper Cosmere awareness that her story arc brought in. I love finding Easter eggs, I love drawing connections, but there were moments where the infodumps felt a little too tedious. Also, the rest of the clues, save for Chrysalis, didn't really work for me. The motley crew consists of a deserter from Scadrial, a shade, and also a sleepless. Her name is Chrysalis, and she is part of the crew because of Hoyd, of course. I think this is the most that we've seen of these creatures, but unlike earlier entries of the Cosmere where the sleepless were always these strange entities in the background, here we actually have a sleepless be a full-fledged character, and Sanderson has really humanized these creatures. There is a word of Sanderson that says the Sleepless are going to be the primary antagonists of Mistborn Era 4. Reading about Chrysalis makes me feel a little more hopeful that it's not all going to be black and white. Plot-wise, it's Sanderson. It's exactly what you would expect. It is exciting. It is fun. There is no point in the plot that I felt bored. But the Sanderlanche, if I'm being honest, was a little underwhelming for me. Maybe because we've read so many fantastic endings to Sanderson's books that my expectations were unreasonably high. However, the ending was very satisfying. It was fitting, it was inspiring. I don't think there could have been a better ending for this story. This is where we get into spoiler territory. The location that the Malvish Squadrians have built a camp around, trying to find a perpendicularity, is actually the tomb of Kakoban, the ancient hero that all trappers worship. Dusk's entire journey ends up being a mirror to Kakoban, and his final test is to tame Dakwara, who is the mythological great serpent. Dakwara is just a creature in Shadesmark, a very highly invested creature at that, but still. Dusk's part of the Sanderlanche was brilliant. but I didn't enjoy Starlight's part in the climax. It felt a tad underwhelming. It made sense because everyone does come to work together. Starlight does take her role as leader seriously, and also the crew comes to accept Chrysalis as a member of the crew even if they don't fully trust her. I don't know, it just didn't feel as epic as I had expected, especially given that Dusk story had a very satisfying, very awesome ending. All this finally manages to resolve a problem that felt almost impossible in the beginning. You have two technologically advanced civilizations who have figured out interplanetary travel and are trying to essentially colonize your planet, and you somehow find a way to have something to bargain with. Now that I didn't know how Sanderson was going to do it, but he did it, and he did it in a very satisfying way. And if that's not enough, Dusk, he decides to join Starlight as part of a crew as navigator to no longer be redundant, which he has been feeling for a couple of years in the beginning of the book. I think that's the best ending you could give for this character. If Sanderson actually writes another novel featuring this crew with the adventure that they might be teasing, I would love to read that. Because honestly, by the end, I did grow a soft corner for Starlight. I might not have enjoyed her arc, but it made sense by the end. And the crew grew familiar enough for me to enjoy their stories. So, in conclusion, Isles of the Emberdark, in true Secret Project fashion, is unique and creative. It was everything I expected, and a lot of which I didn't. There were parts of the book that didn't work for me, but as a whole, this was a very entertaining experience. And if you're a fan of the Cosmere, you are in for a treat. What did you think of my review? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments below. I've also written a full review for Isles of the Emberdark on sffinsiders.com. If you'd like to read it, the link is in the description below. Like this video, comment, share, and follow me for more. Until next time.